paint back again. I'm still in the same room, just a little darker. So don't let that fool you. I'm not under an interrogation light today. Just trying to let the little one sleep while I do this. Corey, what a weekend it was. A couple big ones.
Yeah, it was good. We didn't have as many big teams playing, right? We had I think it was like 6 out of the top 10 had, or 4 out of the top 10 had like a bye or something like that. But I mean, still fun weekend to watch, especially for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you embrace the chaos, I think you kind of enjoyed some of the results at least. The noon slate kept your eyes on it. Clemson going down to Syracuse, 1-3. First time in Dabo Swinney's tenure that they've been 1-3.
Was he not the coach in 2004? I think it was the last time they went 1-3. But still, like we're talking 21 years. We're talking before the dynasty, quote unquote. You know, that run the ACC. I think Dabo did an interview last week. He's like, "I won 8 out of the last 10 years of our conference. Is that bad? Is that bad? Isn't I think that's good, right?" But he's not going to be winning this year. So
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
mean,
my answer to that is that he's not going to be this year. Yeah, and that is like, well, 1-3 is bad. So we gotta
yeah, you're already
careful.
0-2 in the
It's okay.
conference. You have no shot. No offense, but
Yeah, testing that culture. See if they really keep
you
playing.
do have the fact that you have like a week off. Can you get yourself right? And then you have the fighting Bill Belichick's that you get to play.
And
So
that'll cure what ails you as far as
potentially,
if you
I I
if
saw
you
something about like QBR rankings or some type of rankings and had Gio Lopez like way at the bottom. I felt bad for UNC. They lost to that Central team. Did you
okay.
hear him comment that?
No, I haven't. I hadn't.
He referred to UCF as Central last week, and then
Oh,
UCF beats them, which is even more funny.
it is funny that they don't like being called Central Florida, which is like the University of Central Florida is what you are like. But anyway, they
Yeah,
prefer UCF apparently.
they should
Um,
become the Fighting Orlando's or the space team or something like that. I don't know.
the Citronauts back in the day.
Yeah, there you go, Citronauts.
Um, that was their thing. That's legit. No, the other thing what I was gonna say is I saw a pretty crude tweet about Arch Manning found a slump buster and her name is Sam Houston State, and
Wow.
that's all I'm saying. But I was just saying, UNC could beat that slump buster for Clemson.
Going back to that Texas game, did you see him stand over the player that he kind of nudged as he ran into the end zone to put them up? What it was like 7 or 14-0. It's like,
Okay, yeah, okay, all right.
and then Texas is like,
Maybe he
yeah,
didn't see him. He didn't have his Warby Parkers on. All right, let's give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
we'll give him props. He went what 18 of 21 or something like that for 300 something yards and a couple touchdowns. That's off the top of my head. I don't know how accurate that is, but that sounds right.
It seemed like yeah, he beat up on an overmatched opponent. Good for him.
But you bet against him, so
I did to my detriment. I was like, I should have known. Like that well, you can't go to that well
should
too
you
many
have though?
times.
Last week it didn't go well that way, so why should you have known better?
Yeah, Sam Houston State is a special kind of bad, but
It's a large step down apparently from UTEP. So I'm being sarcastic, but
I actually think so. Just with Sam Houston State has a new coach. I can't even remember the name of their coach before this. I want to say like, oh, I'm gonna get it wrong. He's at Temple now, and he's a really good coach. I think he'll get Temple right.
well, Temple, who they played this week, and they played them tight. I can't remember.
Played Oklahoma
Oh,
last week and we're just overmatched. This week they played Georgia Tech, I think.
yeah,
Is that right?
and they were close into going to the fourth.
Yeah, I like that coach. He helped Sam Houston State transition from FCS to FBS. Had a
Hmm.
couple good years there and was I think his last 2 years in FCS they hung tough with a couple of teams. I think they played BYU in that stretch at one point. It was like, oh man, this team is
Yeah,
holding their
BYU
own. Like,
struggled in that game.
yeah, BYU was struggling in that game, and then I think later that year you found out like, oh, I think they made the FCS semis or maybe even the final.
Yeah.
And he did win a national championship with them at the FCS level. So, but when he left, all that to go. When he left, that team sort of much of it entered the transfer portal and found greener pastures. And so Sam Houston State's, I think, sort of starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about Friday night. We talked about it
Oh,
ahead of the game. We talked about
and
it
then you
ahead
and
of
I
the game.
texted about it.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm outing someone or not, but I have a brother-in-law
Don't out
that.
anybody if we need to.
Well, no trade secrets are being
Okay,
shared here, but I've got a brother-in-law that lives in Stillwater, works for the university, and he was telling me they were chanting "Fire Gundy" basically from the second quarter on.
that's
So
nuts.
until the stadium was empty.
Not that he was doing it; he heard the
The
stadium.
students
Is what
were.
we're
I
saying.
should say that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the students. Sorry, let me make that clear.
yeah.
I think things are kind of getting. It's getting late early for the Cowboys.
I don't know. I just feel like Dabo's talk like last week was like, "You're gonna fire me? You let me go? I'm gonna go coach somewhere else." Like that's kind of feels like Gundy's attitude. Like you want to fire me? Okay, whatever. Like I know he hasn't said anything. I haven't heard him talk, but it's like that kind of
His
just seems
buyout
like his
isn't as cost
mentality.
prohibitive as Dabo's is. Apparently, Dabo's is like 60 million, so he's there.
Yeah.
They are stuck with him for at least a few more seasons.
Well, it depends on
And
when that buyout money comes from
yeah, I was
Big
gonna
Ten.
say
They can
that
just
the conference, yeah, once the media rights for the SEC or the Big Ten
and
eventually start
apparently you can
flowing,
just add
or they could at least
$40 million.
announce it and borrow against it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, and apparently you can just add $40 million to your budget randomly when you decide to fire your coach. I don't know if you saw that from Vautech. They were like, "Oh, we're going to add $47 million to the athletics budget." It's like, oh, why didn't you do that beforehand? But, so maybe they can
Yeah,
just find 47 million randomly, just like
yeah,
Virginia
just
Tech did.
some change in the couch cushions. I'm sure you could find it. It's not that much. Um, yeah, I don't know about that. That was wild to me. It's like, okay, where is that coming from? But anyway, back to week that was. Yeah, we touched on. I don't have any big takeaways from. Uh, let's see the big matchups. Yeah, LSU Southeast Louisiana. They won that handily. Oregon handled Oregon State. Don't have anything to say on that one. Sam Houston and Texas didn't really have much to say on that one. I do have a lot to say about another score that was pretty lopsided. Did you see Indiana and Illinois?
Yeah, no, I thought Illinois was real. So my faith was in Luke Altmaier. And it turns out my faith should have been in Kurt Signiganetti because he apparently has a chip on his shoulder and is ready to show the entire world that like you counted us out last year, even though we don't lost to the two teams that were in the championship game. Like there's like basic talk that we shouldn't have been in there, and he's out to show something. It seems like so. My apologies. Did not understand that you would be back as much as you were. Good heavens.
Yeah, he's man, he's all about like honestly, like if he just changed the hairstyle a little bit. I mean, they don't look exactly alike, but you could Photoshop him uh, on gosh, oh, I'm gonna blank his name now, and it's gonna make me mad.
Yeah, this is
The
a terrible little
the
bit.
Cobra Kai sensei from like just that No Mercy, like, and they
Yeah, I
have
have no idea.
no mercy.
Who has a
It's
clue what that guy's name is in real life?
Marty Co. I
No,
think is the that's what I want to say. I'm probably way off on that. Um,
I'll look
I
it up
can't
for you real
I can't
quick.
even remember the.
Oh, I'm struggling to type.
Oh, sorry, I think I may have
Um,
dropped out for a second
let's see.
there. Um,
Or I don't know what the name is. John Kreese is the original player of it, but I don't know if they gave us a name for
John
it.
Kreese is
So
Kreese is the
it looks like
character's
I might have
name.
lost you.
Can you hear me now? No, nothing.
You're frozen for me. If you can
I
hear
can
me.
hear you. I got you. Let me see the chat here.
Some technical difficulties. So apparently we lost Steve. I don't know if it's just me that lost Steve or Steve lost Steve. Anyways, yeah, that Indiana game, I wasn't familiar with them and how great they would be. We'll let Steve edit this up. But if we're going on to other games, I know we're going to talk Auburn probably in Oklahoma, so we'll talk about that in a second. But talking about Tulane and Ole Miss, I, I just started talking, Steve, so you can edit that out however you want. If you're here with me, are you back?
I think so. I didn't see it said I was like maybe not perfect on my yeah, it was like trying to reconnect, but I could hear you the whole time. Sorry.
Oh, that's
We'll
fine.
try and patch
No,
we'll
you're
try and
good.
stitch those together. If not,
All
there'll
right.
be like a 4-minute audio, which by the way, my Bill Buckner thing didn't work last time either. Did you notice that? Oh,
Oh, you early
I'm
on,
so
your audio
mad.
went out
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I thought that was funny. Anyway,
Yeah, your one joke was terrible. I mean, you
yeah, yeah,
missed.
exactly. You're probably like, oh, thank goodness. Um,
No, so I was jumping from there. I was jumping into the Tulane Ole Miss game. I figured we'd come back and about Oklahoma Auburn, but if you want to talk Oklahoma Auburn, we can talk about that. If there's
yeah,
anything else you want to say about Indiana Illinois,
just they
whatever.
won front, right, and center on that game. I watched it after the fact, so I was like looking for like, okay, how did they win this game? It was like, oh, well, they could do whatever they wanted offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Illinois is down like 4 or 5 members of their defense of their
Defensively,
secondary,
yeah,
so maybe I extend a little bit of grace there. But like they got as much as they wanted from.
yeah, but I wouldn't extend that much.
They got as
I don't know.
yeah.
I
They
might have
did
lost you
everything
again,
they
Steve.
wanted to defensively. Oh my gosh,
Oh, there you go. Be
I'm
back
back.
for me. Yeah.
All right. I was gonna say if this thing doesn't shake out, maybe it's not in the cards. I don't. Sorry about that.
Such
Um,
such is life.
but yes, they. I mean, scored on special teams, ate them alive defensively, dominant offensively. Wow, what a performance!
Yeah, yeah. Like you can sit there and say you don't have four players on the in the secondary, but that doesn't account for the fact that you only score 10 points in the game. So like you're not going to win a game scoring 10 points, even if you had all your secondary, generally speaking, unless you go back to like what was 2005 Miami Florida State where it's like 9-3 or something like that,
I remember
or you go
that.
back to the classic LSU Auburn games where it's like 6-3.
Bama, yeah, the
Yeah, that's
nine
all right.
six 9-6 overtime game. Like you had extra opportunities to score, and still the final was 9-6.
Um, let's talk. Let's talk Auburn, Oklahoma. Did you get eyes on that game?
Yes, after the fact as well. But yes, I saw that game.
So, if you're an Auburn fan, how did you feel? Because I think they have some valid gripes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about the sort of the trick play trick where he's walking off the field acting like he's going to substitute out and is wide open. Um,
Yeah, there's that. There's the fumble recovery that for a touchdown that gets overturned.
oh, maybe I missed that play. Maybe I missed that. I
That's
was
like that's like 3 minutes in.
oh, really okay. Maybe I missed that one. I did go like I think I started the game a little bit after, so maybe I that's where I missed that one, and then caught up on mostly key plays on that one. I feel like I was kind
Yeah,
of in
I
and
want
out
to
on
say
that
during
one.
Bama's touchdown, like during Oklahoma's touchdown, there's a deep pass. I want to say maybe it's the one to Isaiah Stagniga where it looks like it's like he catches it, but then he like doesn't quite finish the catch all the way through, and they still count as a catch. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I didn't watch the game 100%, but like I think that counted, and I was like, oh, because I did see that highlight, and I was just like, that looks rough. Like if that was me, I'd be frustrated. So
And they are. Um, from what I could see on social media, yes, they're very frustrated. To me, I would be frustrated that what was initially thought of as a pretty strong offensive line could not protect. And you know, there's blame to go
yeah,
around, right? Jackson Arnold, I think, struggled to diagnose the defense and maybe held onto the ball a little bit. But there were some times where it's like, hey, there's not much of a pocket being created here. So Oklahoma's defense is to me what won the day. And yeah, they're really exciting going forward. I think they're going to be, yeah, I think we talked about this already, but like right now I got them favorite over Texas, I think. At South Carolina doesn't look as daunting as it once did. Home versus Ole Miss, I feel
no,
pretty good about. At Tennessee, I'm fascinated in that one because I think your defense should travel, and I think Tennessee's defense isn't great, so that one's interesting. At Bama, you're
yeah.
probably not going to be favored in that game. I wouldn't expect you to. Home versus Missouri, again, a fascinating game, and home versus LSU, like from what I've seen from Oklahoma and what I've seen from some of these opponents, like that's 10-2, 11-1. Like if you're 9-3, I think you're disappointed at this point, right? Like
I wouldn't go that far. Like me just being honest, like I think you're a good team. I think you should be favored in these teams. But like if you were to give me like the percentage of on Texas, I'd probably give you like a 55%. You give me the percentage against Ole Miss, I'd probably give you like maybe a 60%. You give me Tennessee, I'll probably give you a 65%. Alabama, I'll probably give you a 60 to 55%, depending on who they are. Even Missouri, like these are
true,
games in which you will be favored, but the spread is not going to be big,
fair.
and you could drop one of these games easily. And so if I lost, I mean, I'm going against. I've got the worst team in the FCBS next, and then I've got South Carolina and Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri. Like it's 5 straight ranked teams. Oh, and not including Texas. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like
yeah.
that's gonna be rough. And like I could see it going that way, but I could also see it's like you could end up losing 4 games, and I would not be surprised and be like, oh, this team didn't meet expectations. I'm just gonna be like, dude, you ran into buzzsaws. Like, who knows what Tennessee's offense is gonna do at any random moment? Who knows what Ole Miss is? Depending on who starts a quarterback, what Ole Miss is going to do at any random moment. Who knows what Alabama is? Because Ty Simpson looked completely lost against Florida State, and then has looked sharp since. Granted, the competition hasn't been there, and so it's like we're a month in and we still don't know anything.
Is some of that? I keep going back to like I don't like these really expanded conferences because I feel like there's less. I mean, and granted, any year we'd probably have a similar thing this early in the season, but like I'm just looking at the SEC, I'm looking at the Big Ten, and it's like, oh, you're gonna have like 4 or 5 teams that don't cross that their paths don't cross very often. There's maybe some overlap in schedules, but there's sometimes where they're just. I mean, you could have 10 or 11 wins for like 4 or 5 teams, and it's like we got to sort this out, and I guess we just don't get to do that until the playoff now.
And that's going to end up, and I 100% agree with you, and that's going to end up in blowouts in the playoffs because you still don't know who the teams are. Whereas in like when you had divisions, you had to play every single team in your division. You knew you were arguably the best team in the division because everybody played everybody in the division. Here it's like, oh, I play a third to maybe 2/3 of my conference, but like I might miss, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and my life is really easy. Or if you're in the Big Ten, I might miss Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, and all of a sudden I'm an undefeated team. But who have I played? And I 100% believe that. I also think we don't have great teams anymore. The great team is dead because of NIL. You would have had all this accumulation of talent. People could move around and they're stuck there. And so you could have these incredible teams with backups that are ready to go. And now it's like, oh, your backup may be phenomenal, but now he's over at another school. So you're not a great team anymore. You're bringing in freshmen that are pretty good, maybe 5-star recruits, but you're not going to be a great team anymore. You're going to be one of many good teams. And we're getting closer and closer to the NFL, to be frank, where anybody can win it any certain week with certain teams.
Yeah.
Which I honestly don't like. I enjoy like the teams that could accumulate talent and make teams,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna miss the program building aspect of it, where you can see, and again, you still see elements of this. I mean, look what Signetti's doing, where it's just, hey, they're building, but again, some of that's been through the portal still, but I don't know.
But that also means like you will never have long-term dynasty coaches that will last forever either. You're going to go back to, you're going to see what happens in the pros where it's like you might have a Tomlinson that still is there for after 15 years, but everyone
that will be the exception, not the rule. Yeah, and 30 years ago, I think you could find, probably 25, 30 coaches that have been at their establishment, or, been at their university for 10, 15 years.
Let's go 15 years ago. You got Stoops, you got Beamer, you got Bobby Bowden, you got Spurrier, you've got the Texas coach, you had like
Mac Brown,
you had Tressel, who'd been there for a while. Who's the Michigan coach for
Carr,
the last time?
Lloyd Carr.
Yeah, like you had tenured coaches that were there that forever that built those programs, and now like The longest tenured person in the ACC is Dabo, and then if you go after that, it's like Cristobal, maybe.
No, it's the NC State coach.
Oh, Doran, you're right.
Doran, I think he's been there 9 years.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And then you look at the SEC. Is it Kiffin? I'm trying to go off the top of my
Stoops,
head.
right?
Okay, maybe. Yeah, he been there like 10 years?
He's been there since 2012 or 2013 was his first year.
Yeah.
So 12 years.
Did he win the title with Florida State? Though?
No. It's Jeremy Pruitt was his first season as defensive coordinator.
Yeah. So you're saying 2012, and then who's next after that? Like I'm sure we're missing people, but Auburn's recently was 3 years out. Texas is maybe it's I think it's Kiffin at Ole Miss maybe.
Probably right. That's wild.
Yeah, and like if you go the Big 12, it's Gundy for sure.
Yeah,
and then
by a mile, and then Kalani.
Yeah.
I think Kalani. Oh, Witt. Whittingham's again another one of the last of the dying breed.
Okay, he's a dying breed. You're right, and he should have died last year, but he's decided to come back this year.
Didn't get his fill of embarrassment. Should we shift from the high level conversation and get back into the weeds?
That's fine.
All right. Texas Tech goes in to Salt Lake City, and they brought the tortillas.
Dude, but it was a close game until the fourth quarter, and their quarterback gets hurt, and all of a sudden they throw it into next year.
Impressive. Do you think, like, the more I look at that game, I again watched most of it live, but then kind of looking at it in retrospect, it's like, they hadn't pulled away. But watching it the second time, it's like, I don't know if there's ever a point where they really felt like threatened, other than the fact where it's like, okay, it's still a 1-score game.
Yeah.
A single busted play will change this, but like, if you're just looking at it from a down-to-down perspective, like, Utah struggled, and that was, to me, was eye-opening. And if I may take some license here, a good buddy of mine called me, and he's like, can I just rant for a minute? So this is a hat tip to Big Z, a good friend of mine, but he's not a Utah, he's a BYU guy. He's a BYU guy. He was reveling in it, but he was just like, at what point does Utah stop getting the benefit of the doubt? And I think he was kind of like, hey, I'm going to say it to you, but he's like, I really want to say it to a coworker of mine who is kind of an obnoxious Utah fan. And he's like, it's hard to keep it civil with him, so I'm going to say it with you. I'm just going to walk in Monday morning with a big grin on my face and not say anything. But he's like, at what point do they stop getting the benefit of the doubt? Because, I mean, this is now 3 years in a row where QB injuries have sort of derailed their seasons. And I should say, like, injury maybe isn't the right word. QB play and limitations around QB play. That Witt did say that, I guess, Dampier was sort of banged up this week in practice. Funny, he didn't show up on the injury report, but So, but all that, and I was going to say, I think that that's kind of sort of one of the things that sort of comes with the territory if you're going to be a 5'10" QB and run that type of offense. Like, that's going to happen. All that to say, go ahead.
Like, if you look at his stats from last year, he threw 12 picks and 12 touchdowns. Like, he was a mediocre quarterback. You can't live and die by his arm, and they kind of did. You need him to run, and he didn't. He wasn't a threat. I mean, 11 carries for 27 yards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're getting right at the point that I was going to. It's that, the thought process from people who backed Utah, me, is with a great and like a really impressive offensive line in front of him, they'll be able to establish the run. He kind of provides, another thing for a defense to think about in the run game, and then ultimately that should open up windows for him to pass to. And I don't know if I voiced it on the podcast or not. I need to go back and just double check, because I don't want this to be like, well, I was concerned, but I never said it. But I did have, the wide receiver position was a weakness of the offense, or at least the perceived weakness, and I think that was correct going into the season. My thought was, I think they'll be able to get enough stuff open that it won't matter. Just because everyone will be so preoccupied with the running running back, the run game. That again, with a really good offensive line, I think you have probably 3 NFL players on that offensive line, maybe more. But it just hasn't materialized. There was a couple times that 4th and 1 early on, they run right behind Spencer Fano, and I'm calling names that I couldn't. I'm not a good football player. He's an excellent football player, but they run right behind you. They expect you to get the push. Like, you're the best player on the offense, basically, or one of them, and he gets stonewalled by, I can't remember the defensive player's name, Bailey. I can't remember the first name, David Bailey, something like that. But yeah, like no push. They aren't able to convert that one, and it was just like that all day. Like Texas Tech's defensive line won the day, and Witt was surprised by that. I was surprised by that. It goes back to
that. Witt acknowledged it too. Like, he literally's like, if you told me not in 10 years would I've ever thought like we would lose the battle at the line of scrimmage, and he's like, but we lost. So
yeah, and he said the same thing about BYU in 2021 or 2022, whenever they played most recently before this past year. And he basically said, like, we lost the lines of scrimmage. I would have never thought that. I would have bet my house on us winning the lines of scrimmage. And so he does own it when they lose. That was troubling for those of us that are kind of sort of have always thought we had our finger on the pulse of the Utah Utes, and 2 years in a row now we've had pretty disappointing results. But anyway, I'm going back to Big Z. Sorry,
it's one loss. It's not disappointing.
I know. I'm not ready to sell all my stock. I'm just saying, like, the way that they lost is to me, and I said this with FSU last year when we ended up going 2-10. When you lost to Georgia Tech, it's like, it's not the fact that you did lose, it's how you lost that makes me worried. Now, I don't know how many. Well, I do know they will not face another defensive line that's that good. Like, that part's true, but there are other defensive lines that might give you trouble. Like the one in Provo, I think, is now maybe a little bit of a problem, at least on the interior.
I also feel for this team because you now have to go all the way across to play in West Virginia, across the country. Like, that's gonna suck. And then you have to play Arizona State, which you never know what you're gonna get with Arizona State. They seem to be up for everything. So, and then you got BYU. It's like the slate doesn't get super easy. Eventually, you get to the Colorados and the Cincinnatis and the Kansas States. I'm just kidding. Even though Kansas State's been terrible this year, but like, you have a little bit of harder slate to come up too.
Yeah. Well, and I guess, like, I don't know if you realize this, but like, since Utah joined the Big 12, which is admittedly a year and 4 games, 1 season and 4 games, but they're yet to win a conference home game. They are yet to win a Big 12 conference game against an opponent with a winning record.
Okay.
And I know they've only played 1 this year, but like, at some point your track record becomes your track record, right? Like,
yeah, well, speaking of track records, you can go on to Nebraska losing another 1-score game.
I'm gonna wake up a baby
I feel
here.
bad for them, but, like, I just feel bad for them. Like, come on, score wise, you're in it. Realistically wise, you weren't. I don't know. I'm moving on. Sorry. Just felt bad for them.
No, move right on. I did not see any of Michigan, Nebraska. So if you got thoughts on it,
basically,
I'm
Michigan,
game to hear it.
If they run the ball, they're in games. They're going to be in games, and they should own games. And they ran the ball well against Nebraska. So, Nebraska had a Hail Mary at the halftime to kind of help make this thing look kind of close.
I did see that highlight, yeah.
But, I was bummed, like, because it was closer than it should have been, I mean, honestly, than the game. And I picked Nebraska to win, or to at least cover the 2.5, and they end up not covering the 2.5. They lose by 3. So, but in reality, it should have been a much bigger loss than that. I don't know if there's any other games. There's a few other that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk Miami and Florida State, or Miami and Florida, and then Florida State. I don't know if there's any that you want to talk about.
Go for those ones, and then I'll sprinkle a couple of quick tidbits on at the end.
All right, so I'll talk Florida State. Florida State spanks Kent State. And I don't really have a problem with them spanking Kent State. Like, I think there's something like 60 plus players got double digit snaps in this game. Like, They played 47 players on defense. Like, it's unreal. There's a lot of things. But man, I'm gonna get on my soapbox. My bone to pick is with the FSU media talking about like Tommy Castellanos is the number one ranked like quarterback when it comes to like big time throws. He's turned a corner. Blah 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 blah. Like this is Florida State team is so much better than we are. They should be in the top 10. We have played nobody. We played a half-hearted Alabama team that did not look like an Alabama team. They did not know what they were doing. Clearly on defense, if you watch that, like, no offense, if you watch that, Clemson might have beat them. Okay, and then you play an FCS team and the worst FBS team. Granted, you take these teams to the woodshed like you should, and you're not playing around with your food. But we still don't know anything about this Florida State team, and I think I'm sick and tired of them being like, "Oh, this team's got the number one ranked offense in the nation." It's like, yeah, you played nobody.
Yeah.
And people, I put that on Twitter, and someone else is like, "Oh, well, most people play nobody." I'm like, most people play one nobody. But who can you say it's like FCS and the worst FBS team in the nation? There's nobody else you can say that.
Yeah, you're the beneficiary of one really good game against Bama, which I you can say that it's half-hearted. Like that to me is like, well, that's on them. That you don't get to control that. What you did is you whooped their asses. Like,
but
so
the
that
Bama
part
that we've seen now since then is not look like the Bama that it has been. And like the Bama, the fans are like, "Oh, if we played again, we might beat you." Yeah, you probably would, but you didn't. I agree. It just didn't look good for me. And then you have two practices.
Yeah, they are the beneficiaries of, regardless of, okay, we maybe don't see eye to eye on the Bama game, because to me it's like, hey, that result is the result, and I think you agree with that part. But it's just like, if they played again this next week, I guess baking in the fact that we've already played them, that like Bama's going to have their heads on straight. But if it was just to start the year, like, who knows what that result is, right?
No, I think honestly, if you played them again right now, you would have a chance of beating them. But I don't think you beat them as soundly as you did 2 weeks ago.
Fair.
Even if it was,
My point is, FSU's been the beneficiary of, after that game, playing, like you said, 2 cupcakes and a bye week, while everyone else is like, they're the 7th ranked team, and it's like they're not the 7th best team. I don't think they're that close to that. Like, I mean, they're, by that close, I mean, like, I'd probably have them just inside the top 20. I think
that's exactly right.
So somewhere in there. Like, I still think there's there's a chance that this team goes 9-3 or 8-4. Like, that'd be disappointing a little bit at this point, but like, yeah, they no one's benefited more from having just like a really good first game and then just basically go radio silent for almost a full month. Like,
yeah, I'd almost put them in like, this thing sounds kind of bad. It's like an Ole Miss, LSU, Oklahoma. Like, you don't really know what the team is. Like, you think that they're kind of good, and like, yeah, they might be ranked pretty high, but they also might drop an egg somewhere. And like, I think this team could compete in the middling of the SEC, but I don't think it's. I mean, you have them ranked higher than every SEC team except for what, Georgia? Is that right, off the top of my head? Oh, and LSU.
Yeah, and LSU. Yeah. I like the company. LSU and Ole Miss, I kind of agree. I think Oklahoma's better than any of those 4 teams that we just mentioned. So I'm just throwing that out there. We'll see if that's true as the season plays out. But yeah, I was like, I would take it if we're as good as Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I'm saying LSU is undefeated too, but like,
I don't know what.
I haven't bought into that.
Same.
Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of teams I'm like, I haven't bought into them. I don't really know where they are, and like, I would not be surprised if they end up being ranked 14th or 19th or 13th. But I don't think this is the 7th best team in the nation, to be frank. The FSU media is hyping this up, and I'm like, you are just setting yourself up to fail a little bit, which is annoying to me. Anyways, there's my soapbox about the FSU game. You had any other thoughts about it?
No, not much else to take away from that.
The only thing I would say is like, Makai Danzy looks more than like the guy who did the reverse against Alabama. Mm-hmm. I think whatever. He looks more than an athlete. Florida State's always had these track guys that they bring in, and it's like, oh, you're a track guy. You're not a football player, like Marvin Bracey, etc. But this kid, like, the way he adjusted to that deep ball in double coverage and went up and fought it, and I get it, you're against lesser talent, but like, you moved like a football player. That was interesting to me. And the way you kind of like were able to catch that ball in stride and not look at all awkward, he looks like a football player. And so I'm interested to see where he goes, because he leads Florida State in in rushing. I think he's touched the ball like 9 times this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty special player, and yeah, it's cool to see him kind of show a little bit more well-roundedness to that game. Right, he's not just like a one-trick pony, or at least so far he's shown the ability to do multiple things, which is exciting.
Yeah. All right. Florida, Miami. You didn't catch the game at all, did you? Or
I didn't
watch that
didn't see it.
Okay, so Florida punts right off the get-go. Miami right down the field, touchdown. Florida 3-and-out again. Miami right down the field, field goal. Then it kind of gets into a little bit of a stall mode. It starts to get a little ugly. We get to about halftime. Florida, I think, has I can add it up right here. You go here. 3 plays for -5 yards, 3 plays for 5 yards, 7 plays for 18 yards, 3 plays for 2 yards, 3 plays for 0 yards, 3 plays for 2 yards. So they have 0 yards for the first half. Terrible, right? Then they go 80 yards for a touchdown and make this 13-7. And Miami responds by Beck throws a pick. And you're like, oh crap, the game is turning. And we get into the fourth quarter, and Florida goes for it on 4th and 1. Is that what it is? 4th and 3. And they have an incomplete pass. And they have a turnover on downs. This is on the Miami 31. And Miami kind of that first drive, it's a weird play calling. I don't know if you remember, who's the quarterback that went over to Wisconsin? Van Dyke?
Tyler Van Dyke, yeah.
Yeah, when he was kind of hurt, do you remember how they just kind of called everything to the flat?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't have him throw the ball down because they were like, we don't have any accuracy at all. Well, that's how they call this next that next drive. Everything from Beck throws to the flat. It looks slow. It looks whatever else. And you're like, is Beck hurt? What's going on? And they end up having to punt the ball, and their defense gets it back. And then we have 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And Miami just goes, you know what? Screw it. It's 13-7. We have the ball on I think it's the 30-yard line, 35-yard line. We're going to lean on our offensive line. And we're going to just show you we have the better line. And from the 8-minute mark or 7.5-minute mark on, there's nothing but runs from Miami for the rest of the game. Literally, not a single pass. And it is 9-yard, or it's 3-yard run, 11-yard run, 6-yard run, 10-yard run, 3-yard run, 2-yard run, touchdown. And then they get the ball back. Oh, let me get back down there. And it's 4-yard run, 16-yard run, touchdown. It's just we know our offensive line is better than yours. And it's for the first time in a while, it looked like Mario Cristobal had got his offense coordinator to call a sensible game. We know where our strengths are. We're going to lean on that strength, and we're just going to pummel on you. And once they did that, the game was over. Florida's offense was inept, but also there's Miami's offensive line just said, you know what, you can't stop us. Good luck stopping us. And it was impressive. I was glad that they leaned on it. And it scares me to play them, to be frank.
Yeah. That's a game where I think you're going to need to, if you're going to win, and this is going to sound super obvious, but to feel good about that one, I think you need a 2 or 3 score lead going into the fourth. You have to make them throw the football. Yeah. And even then, they've got some weapons. It's not like they can't do that. It's just
Malachi Tony, the 18-year-old.
The fear there is that you're in a tight game, and then halfway through the third quarter, they start playing bully ball, like you just said, and keep your defense on the field. You get 1 3-and-out, and then it's all right. We're just gonna. Here it comes again. You know what's coming. We're running right at you. You can't stop it. For so many plays, bleed the clock, a couple touchdowns, and that's a wrap.
Yeah, if Miami doesn't call all runs, you've got to find a way to stop the run and force it into Beck's hands, and then move Beck off the spot. And if you can get pressure, great. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Florida State get pressure against Texas Eastern, Texas A&M, or Kent State. Granted, you pulled your starters out pretty early, and maybe you weren't trying to rush it because they were like, "Oh, we beat you, and we'll just wait at the line of scrimmage." But it didn't seem like you got a lot of pressure against those teams. You got pressure against Alabama, so maybe you can find a way to make pressure. But
yeah, I wonder if
I'm terrified.
There's some stuff being held in reserve as far as twists and stunts and things that they might try and manufacture some things. But yes, it's a concerning matchup for sure.
Yeah. Knock on wood, FSU is one of 4 teams that haven't allowed a rushing touchdown yet this year. Granted, who they played, but maybe it's a strength. I mean, they did shut down the Alabama run game after that first series. So I don't know, but like I feel bad for this Florida Gators team because I don't think this Florida Gators team is a 1-3 team. I like you've struggled a little bit with quarterback play, to be frank. And if you had a different quarterback in there, you might be you probably are 3-1. You might or 2-2, and like the sky's not falling because you lost to number 3 LSU and you lost to number 4 Miami. The reason the sky's falling is you lost to South Florida right before this. But like you're going through LSU, Miami, Texas in 2 weeks, and then A&M. It doesn't get easier. You play Georgia, you play Ole Miss, you play Tennessee. Like this is going to be a rough gauntlet, and you can't expect this. Like this fluctuation could have gone anywhere from like 8-4 to like 2-9. Like I mean, you never know. I know those numbers don't add up, but like 3-9 maybe or something like that. It's rough. So, anyways, that's my spiel on them.
Yeah, you hate to see it, but more than that, you love to see it.
I mean, in those games, I wish both teams could lose, but you know, and especially I hate watching Mario Cristobal win. I think I hate watching Mario Cristobal win more than I would hate Billy Napier saving his job. So,
yeah, from the perspective of an FSU fan, that makes sense. Any other games you wanted to tackle?
Nothing in particular. I mean, I kept eyes on games, but
yeah, I'll maybe add just a couple of quick tidbits, right? Like a sentence each. USC looks for real. We'll see. Again, you got to travel this week to Illinois. Illinois is licking their wounds after getting pasted. But USC, I think, is the real deal.
the other thing though is like we may not know until like if this Illinois team's a real team, and I kind of fully expect USC to kind of pace this Illinois team a little bit.
I just like it's travel. Everyone has struggled with that travel, so that part to me is like something I got to see from USC. I think the physicality is there. I think that this will be a better test of it than they've seen to this point. So I think that it's again just kind of the next thing that we need to see from USC. But everything looks like Jaden Vaiava is playing pretty well. Like I going into the season didn't think much of him. Frankly, I just kind of was like, "Hey, he's fine." After last year, I was surprised to see seeing him play last year. It went back to the time where it's like, okay, he went into the transfer portal at UNLV, and he was committed to Georgia, or I think everyone thought he was going to go to USC, and then he commits to Georgia, and then he flips to USC, and I was just kind of like, I just hadn't. I only watched like a game of him play at UNLV, but like none of it screamed like, oh, he's like a talent that the very upper crust of the sport is going to be like fighting tooth and nail over in the transfer portal. And now maybe maybe I'm starting to see it a little bit more.
Like if you go to the end of last year, I think didn't he struggle?
Yeah, he wasn't great. Yeah.
I'm like trying to pull up his stats from.
I don't remember. He threw a lot of interceptions in some big games. Yeah, against Texas A&M, he threw quite a few. And then I can't remember the other game, but he had several multiple interception games last year, if my memory serves me.
Yeah, I'm pulling them up real quick. Yeah, he threw. Let's see. Yeah, 3 against A&M, 2 against Notre Dame, and those are the last 2 games of the season. Like
okay, so yeah, that's why it's on my brain because it was the last impression that we got of him.
Well, he only plays like if you remember, he only plays like the last 4 games of the season, right? He comes in Nebraska, throws an interception, 3 touchdowns, and they win that game, and then they play UCLA, but it's ugly. It's like 19-13. I mean, and you're playing UCLA, so no props there. But then you lose to Notre Dame, and you beat A&M, but you still throw 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions against A&M. So, yeah. Well, we'll see how he continues when he plays an actual defense.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to.
Which won't be against Illinois, but
Yeah, no kidding. They must be pretty excited about. We've got our wide receivers and a banged up secondary. It could get ugly. Yeah. It could get ugly. They just got to handle the travel. That's really the only concern. Like I said, a couple of just quick tidbits. BYU finally actually let Bear play, and I thought he looked okay. Again, just another data point. Good to see that that's in there. 34-13 versus
like
East Carolina.
Terrible in the first half. To be honest.
Well, yeah. I sorry, I should have said in the second half. I felt like they really let him cut loose, and even then, there was a couple of drops in early on in the game, they've had some issues with the drops in the receiving core / skill position players. So there's an element of that. To me, I'm gonna say, hey, it was his first half starting on the road. Like I'm gonna give him a pass there, and then it's like, okay, once he settled into the game, he played pretty well.
Yeah, he looked like he good. Yeah, and having LJ Martin, man, I love watching that guy run.
He's fun.
Like, honestly, I'd put him in my top echelon of quality running backs this year.
If I'm picking nits, I need him to be a little bit faster. There's like
don't
sometimes he breaks into the open field and it's like, oh, sweet, and then it's like, oh, he doesn't quite have that, like, okay, if I get past the second level, it's game over. Like,
you're not gonna catch me.
Yeah, but that's again, he's an excellent player. That's the one thing I would just say. If I was like, in creative player mode, I'd be like, can you get a couple more notches up on the speed? What was the other one? Oh, I have to acknowledge this one because I talked about it last week. Cal got blasted by San Diego State. Woof.
Yeah, you were on the train and the train crashed.
I know. Again, I'm still not selling entirely here. He still had, man, JKS.
No, don't sell. That was just
no. Well,
that was a bad game.
It's a bad game. Like, that one's one where it's like, I don't even know what you do about okay, guys, just forget about that one and focus on the next one. But he did have, again, 2 or 3 passes where it's like, well, that's a 40-yard completion if the guy catches it. Like, it's put exactly where it needs to be. And one of them, it's like, that's a touchdown, and he dropped it. Like, so.
And this game doesn't matter. It's not in the ACC. So, like, your only chance of getting to the playoffs are winning the ACC, to be frank.
Yeah, with their schedule being what it is, that probably makes sense. And I never thought they were a playoff team. They're fun when I like watching. Kind of kept them up on the the late game. That's like my little guilty pleasure. Is like Megan will go to sleep and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna stay up and watch the late. And I will still call it the late Pac-12 game. Like that's never changing. Even though now it's sometimes a Big 12 or a Big 10 or an ACC.
Or ACC.
Yeah. Anyway, another game I got eyes on. The Apple Cup, Washington State. Huskies.
Of course you do.
Huskies took care of business. But yeah, fascinating that they could not, like Washington State, ahead of the fourth quarter, they throw an interception and then they took a knee at like right before the half. But before that, they didn't really stop Washington State's offense. Washington State's offense is it's fun. There's lots of like tight end drag routes and lots of misdirection with regard to like play action fakes that leaks out either a tight end or a back into the flat or on some designed rollouts. It's actually kind of a fun offense to watch, and you do a little bit more research on like who the brain trust is there at Washington State offensively. I'm not familiar with it, but fun, entertaining game. Washington's only chance to beat Ohio State is to win a shootout. Like they like their defense is not what it needs to be at this point, I don't think, but the offense might be good enough to do that. Like the offense is pretty good. They have 2 really good physical running backs, a superstar receiver in, what's his first name? Boston is the last name. Denzel. Okay, I wanted to make sure I got it right. Denzel Boston. And then, of course, a game breaker at QB in Devon Williams. So who knows what happens in that game, but I just wanted to at least touch on that one as well. The offenses, they aren't boring. Like, they're fun.
Speaking of Washington, you remind me of Maryland's quarterback, Malik Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Freshman quarterback. Have you watched any Maryland games?
No, I've just seen results, but apparently he's dealing. I need to watch him.
Yeah, that's how I am, and I'm like, all right, I need to go back and watch, because, like, you're going to save Mike Loxley's job, which is maybe an issue, but, like, also kind of fun, because I like Loxley, so.
Yeah.
And their schedule is not hard. Like, you play Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, you get Indiana and Illinois, Michigan, you probably get one of the easiest Big Ten schedules, potentially.
Yeah, where your road games are at UCLA, at Rutgers, at Illinois, which, again, we're still kind of jury's still out on Illinois. But, like, the rest of them you have at home. Hey, that's not bad. Again, you host Indiana. Like, that'll probably be a problem, but outside of that,
shout out
Michigan.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. I don't even know if does he listen to this?
He doesn't listen. Of course he doesn't.
Okay, I was like, he ain't got time
but
for this.
Still.
Anyway, but yeah. That's a good one. Good call. Should we spin forward to the next week? I feel like
for sure. Okay. The freaking amazing week that it's gonna be.
Yeah. I'm kind of pumped that FSU is not playing on Saturday, just so I can get eyes on others. So. If maybe that sounds dumb, but like just like, oh, cool, I can watch that game, focus on it, and then Saturday can just try and lock in on some of these other games. Where do you want to start?
I mean, even Friday night slate, Florida State, Virginia, and the TCU, Arizona State. Like the TCU's looked good. I mean, they had a wide receiver that was going off for like 250 yards and 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns last week. Like, I don't know. But then you get into like you get to USC, Illinois, who's going to be good. You get to like LSU, Ole Miss, which I think is a 1 point to 1.5 point spread. I mean, we're finally getting into the meat and potatoes of things. Oregon, Penn State, Georgia, Alabama. I don't know if you want to talk about things. Just like I'm just excited. It's like gift. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Admittedly, I have not done a whole lot of like deep, thorough analysis on like, oh, what can we expect in this game? I think, there's a lot of interesting ones. Did you mention Georgia, Bama?
I didn't. I don't think.
Okay, so there's the elephant in the room. Oregon State, Penn State. Both of those are the evening games, 5:30 Mountain Time, 7:30 Eastern. I'm fascinated about that Alabama game because, again, you have 2 good performances. Again, questionable level of competition, but nonetheless, like, kind of cleanse the palate after a disappointing opener against Florida State. A week in the lab to try and get ready for Georgia. Of course, Georgia also had the week off, so it's not like you're getting extra rest. But I think, in my opinion, the extra bye week suits or is an advantage for Bama rather than Georgia, just because it gives you an opportunity to probably again try and scheme up a couple of things against Georgia's secondary, and I think that's something that you're going to need the extra time for. Whereas, I mean, Georgia, Kirby Smart's got that thing rolling. The defense is still what it is. So I don't know how much the extra week helps the team that's already better, right? The team that I would expect is to win. It just maybe gives the offensive brain trust at Alabama a little bit more opportunity to try and scheme up 1 or 2 more like really good downfield shots. So I'm fascinated to see that game. I'm not totally sold on George QB's name's Gunnar Stockton. There it is.
I agree.
So
that 4th down pass, good heavens, though, against Tennessee. Did you see that pass?
I'm struggling to remember
back
it,
shoulder
but
fade. It's 4th and 6. It's a back shoulder fade for a touchdown, even though that's like a 16 or 20 yard pass. He just drops it perfectly right in there. It's like that's a gutsy play to do and a gutsy pass to make on 4th and 6 to win you the game or to get you in a chance to tie the game. It was pretty, but I agree with you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm fascinated to see that game because I think it's again a good data point to see. Georgia's kind of looked a little shaky against a couple of, against Marshall and Austin Peay. How much do we read into that? Again, Tennessee, they started slow. I don't think you can afford to start that slow against Alabama. I think that there's just a little bit more to Alabama and specifically defensively. Like, I think that you're gonna need to not fall behind by multiple scores. Yeah, this is a huge week. Do you want to talk Oregon, Penn State for a second?
Yeah, what do you want me to talk about?
I'm asking. I've got thoughts, but do you have any? I'm putting you on the spot, but
I sent you guys that thing that talked about how like Drew Aller's QBR is like terrible or something like that. I've been telling you, I don't think this is the quarterback. Like Penn State's gonna have to win this with their defense and their ground game, and then Drew Aller popping up. But I find it. I know it's a night game. I know it's a whiteout. I know, I find it hard to believe that Oregon doesn't win this game, and even Penn State's favored, which blows my mind a little bit. I mean, it'll be Dante Moore's first time traveling as a freshman or whatever else, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to square that too because like it feels like Oregon on a neutral field. I trust Oregon to win this game. Now,
100%.
it being a whiteout, I mean, just look at their record in whiteouts. It's wild. Like so, like it will be the most intimidating environment that Oregon will see this year. But
Are you sure? I mean, Oregon did play, at Northwestern this year already. So
yeah, those crosswinds off the lake, they're no joke. Like,
intimidating.
but the like. I just need to see, is Drew Aller's start a function of them just saying, hey, we don't want to put anything on film. We don't want to give Danny Lanning and Tosh Chapoy anything to kind of work off of and come out with a kind of a surprise game plan. So that's the part that I am struggling to make sense of because I think I remember reading somewhere that they feel pretty good about the wide receivers that they've brought in. With Trevor
Do you
Pena
remember
from
last year where I talked about like he had 260 something passes and over 100 were to the tight ends?
Yeah.
Do you remember when I talked about that? And like I'm looking at their average completion or like average yard per pass. Last year was 8.4. He's substantially down. He's back to like what he was in 2023, which is 7.1 or 6.8. Like, and I admittedly have not watched their games. So is it because he's not throwing it downfield? Is it because like
they certainly haven't had to throw it downfield?
Yeah, and I mean his completion percentage is a little bit lower than last year, and I haven't looked at any. Let me pull up any tight end pieces like who's getting the receptions. Let me see that real quick. Yeah, I need to pull up some of their stats on that, but I'm interested to see where they stand on these kind of things. Let's see. Okay, if I'm looking at receiving, yeah, a tight end's got 13 of the pass. Basically, tight ends have got 13 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 off the top of my head. What is that? 13 plus 4 is 17 plus 20 of his 65 completions have gone to tight end. So we're talking a third. But then you have the top two receivers have made up 30 almost themselves. So maybe they have good wide receivers, but he's also dumping it off the backs a lot, it looks like. Yeah, he's got 57 completions. So I'm talking about in general. But yeah, he looks like he's dumping off the backs a lot. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, this is not an official pick for me, but I agree with you. I think Oregon's going to go in there and win that game.
Also, we're forgetting who's coaching this game for Penn State. So
that's right. Oregon's a lock. put it in there. Was Oregon in the top 5? They're not. They're 6.
Yep. This is going to make them.
Was it top 5 or top 10? Oh, it's top 10. Is that the stat where he's like 1 in something against top 10 opponents?
Yeah, I think he's top 10.
Okay.
I think it might be ranked people. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's top 10, but I think he's like 2 in 14 or something because I remember Boise State was a top 10 opponent in the playoff, and that was his second win over a top 10 opponent.
Yeah, he's 3 and 18.
Oh, 3 and 18.
Top 10 teams.
Thank you.
That was through the 2024 season.
Yeah. So cool. So Boise was that third. All right. Well, yeah, I think Oregon's going to win that game. Again, it'd be interesting to see if Penn State offensively looks like something completely different, just based on they do have, I think, a good ground game. I do think you're going to have to throw the football to win that game in some form or fashion, right?
Oh, yeah. So that was before 2024. So now he's 4 and 20.
Okay, thank you. 4 and 20. Thanks for keeping me honest here. Other games, yeah. Auburn, Texas A&M is interesting. LSU, Ole Miss, both of those in the 3:30 time slot. Quad box in those with Ohio State, Washington.
I don't think that's going to be a game. I don't expect that to be that close.
Ohio State, Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, that you're going to have to turn it into a track meet if you're Washington. That's your only hope of winning. It's like, all right, we have to score basically on every possession. I don't think you're going to be able to do that. I think you're going to struggle to block the defensive line. The one that was interesting to me is the LSU Ole Miss. You've got like just good on good and bad on bad, right? Like we're like the LSU defense, which has been playing very, very well, and the Ole Miss offense, which has been playing very, very well, as like that's the really good on good. Whoever wins that one probably wins the game. But the bad on bad is also interesting, where Ole Miss has not stopped anyone outside of Tulane, and LSU offensively has really struggled. So,
Who do you start for Ole Miss?
I'm riding the hot hand. I'm going with Chambliss.
Yeah, okay. I'd probably do, but like, I mean,
You could make an argument either way. Like I really wouldn't blame him. Whoever it is, again, I don't think it's a short leash necessarily, but it's good to know that you've got another capable player, if not a great or a good player in your back pocket. But I would say don't rock the boat. Let's see what he can do. And again, I don't know what the status of Austin Simmons is, so that your hand might be forced anyway, right? Like you may just have to play him out of necessity. But I would say, yeah, give him a couple cracks at it, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Okay. Yeah, we touched on a few. I don't know if there's anything else you really wanted to like cover in this little preview, or do you have any picks?
Do you have picks yet?
I have a couple of picks. I did not do a good job of like writing down my picks from last week. So,
okay, I can tell you what your picks.
You've got them.
Picks. I can tell you what your picks.
Perfect. Yes, please do. Thank you.
All right, so I had FSU 45.5 over Kent State.
We both did.
A hit.
Yep.
I picked NC State over Duke. That was +3. That did not hit. The funny thing is I rethought that later on, and I told you this. I picked Duke on the other side of it, and that ended up nailing it on another thing we were talking about. I had Illinois. That missed. I had OU. Thank you, refs.
And thank you, safety at the very end of the game. We didn't talk about that before, but yeah, that safety was very important.
That's a dirty little cover.
Oh.
UNLV at Miami of Ohio. They won by 3. I had them at -2.5. First time that UNLV's won on the East Coast or on the east of Mississippi in a long time. And then I had Nebraska, which didn't hit. So I go 3-3 that week. You were TCU -7 versus SMU. I don't know the score, but I'm assuming that hit.
Yeah, they won by 11.
Okay, Oregon -35.5.
No,
that didn't hit.
It did not. They had to kick too many field goals. They won by 34 points.
Oh, that's a rough one. Okay. You had FSU, yes. You had Fresno -2.5.
They won by 2. They gave up a touchdown. With 10 seconds left. But they stopped the 2-point conversion that would have sent it to overtime. At that point, I was like, okay, let Hawaii get the 2-point conversion and then beat them by more than 2 in overtime.
That is hysterical. I'm gonna pull that up because I want to see that again. Like I heard you say it, but my wife always like, you don't trust people. No, I'm like, it's not that I don't trust it. I just want to see it.
Yeah. No, pull that up and I'll tell you. Yeah, so they 23-21 and they throw. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get this mixed up because I was watching that game, but I was admittedly falling asleep while it was happening.
Yeah, well, it's a late game.
Well, yeah, and you can't get it on any TV, so I was just like found some live stream on YouTube. So don't prosecute me. Just like, but yeah, they threw like an interception, and it's like pick 6, like it's gone. And some Hawaii wide receiver comes out of nowhere, just flying, awesome effort, tackles him at like I think the 8-yard line or something, and they force a stop. The defense forces them to kick a field goal. And then, like, it's like that play keeps Hawaii in the game. Like, that's one where if they win, game ball goes to that guy. They couldn't quite get it done, but again, I'm a fan of Hawaii. Like, I like Timmy Chang. I'm glad to see that they've been, improving. They were 3-1 before this week. Is that right? I think they're 3-2 now.
Yeah, 3-2.
Yeah, so like, good for them. Like, I want to see them in a bowl. And I think we will see them in a bowl at this point. But yeah, okay. So that one was rough. Sorry, keep going.
No, moving on. East Carolina +7.5. That one
nope.
Got you.
Yeah, it sure did.
And I don't know who this last one is. I can't read my handwriting, but yeah, it looks like I have them +40 or -40.5 or something like
that. That's the Texas one.
But yeah.
So rough week.
Let's see. Sam Houston, yeah.
So what was that?
Which they covered. So you go 2-4.
Oof. I don't know what that puts me on the season either. I'll update these and actually put together a tracker. I haven't been doing that. Sorry, I've been lazy.
No worries. I think I'm 5-3 on the season because I only had two other picks or something.
I think I am a game or two still above 500, but it started strong and I've started to wane these last couple of weeks. But I'll go ahead and hit you with a couple if you're ready.
All right, you go and I'll write yours down.
All right. Okay, so the very first.
The nice part about not working is I leave this here in front of my computer and I don't see it again until next time we do this in front of my computer.
So it's right there. There you go. Okay. All right. All right. I like TCU at Arizona State Friday night. Give me the over 54.5 points. I think TCU will score. I think Arizona will score. So I'm going to take the over. I'm not choosing a side in that game. I like. Sorry, now I'm scrolling to find where did it go. Yeah, I like Ohio State minus 8.5 versus Washington. I want to see them win it. I want to see them keep it close. I think you have to turn it into a track meet, and I don't think. I think Ohio State's defense is going to give you problems, and your defense is going to also give you problems because you can't stop Ohio State. So, unfortunately, that's how I see that one going. Where'd the other one go? Baylor at Oklahoma State. I'm just gonna blindly fade the Pokes until some changes are made. So yeah, Baylor minus 20.5. Don't care. I think Baylor minus 20.5 in that one.
That's funny.
Oh, here's an interesting one. Part of me hopes that I'm wrong on this one. Plus 14.5 at Navy. I just think they'll keep that game close. I don't think they have to win. They just have to keep it within 2 touchdowns. And then my final pick for this week, it's going to be a tough environment. I think you're going to need to play good defense. But I think
You clicking that pen, huh?
Sorry, can you hear it? I'm nervous. My bad. Sorry for all the listeners. That's probably
I've been doing it too.
That's probably terrible. Just super grating. Yeah, I think. Well, I'm going to do 2 of these. Okay, so San Jose State at Stanford. Stanford's not any good, but San Jose State. I've watched 2 of their games now. They're really bad. I wish they weren't, but they're really bad. So Stanford, I think, covers the 2.5 against San Jose State at home. And right now I'm talking myself out of the BYU pick. I feel like Colorado sort of found their footing last week with Caden Salter at QB. But I think it's gonna take more than that. Like, you know what? I'm gonna stand on business. BYU is gonna go in and cover their 2nd straight road game. It's nerve wracking because the environment will be really raucous. You just got ranked. Colorado still hasn't lost enough to not care, right? Like both their fans and their players. But I think you've got the defense to make life tough on them, and so can you get enough offense? And I think you can. Maybe I regret that one, but I feel like BYU is going to go in there and win that game. It's funny, like heading into the season, I thought, oh, that'll be kind of a tougher game. Or actually, I think heading into the season, I was like, oh, you're probably going to win that game. And then I saw the Georgia Tech game, and granted, Georgia Tech just like fumbled the ball away 3 times at the very beginning of that game, and really made it closer than it should have been. But the thing that was most impressive to me in that game was Colorado's ability to run the football. They've got 2 or 3 running backs that I'm like, oh, they're pretty physical. But if BYU, I think the strength of that team is in stopping the run, or at least so far it is. And granted, competition's a component of that. But so if they can stop the run, including the QB run, I think they stand a pretty good chance to cover that 6.5 on the road.
All right. So that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks the week. All right. Like you, I'm kind of shaky on some of these picks, but I figure enough might be something like I'm going to take FSU minus 7 at Virginia. I think they want to win this game. They want to make it to Miami, and they're not going to overlook the fact that they are going to play Miami in a little bit. And like they're not looking to Miami. They're looking.
I am so nervous for that game.
That Virginia team is good too. And I think Florida State's defense is most susceptible to a pass, and that team is a good passing team. I think it's just a matter of can Tommy continue to beat them, and I feel like FSU's offense has been clicking on all cylinders, and that will continue. Virginia's defense isn't good enough to keep up with FSU's offense. So, in my opinion, give me FSU -7. Give me Duke -5.5 at Syracuse. I'm picking a lot of away teams, which is scary a little bit. But I mean, Angeli's out, torn ACL or torn
Achilles. Yeah,
Achilles.
bummer.
Yeah, so and it feels like Mensa and Duke put something together the last little bit. So they were down for a little while and then brought it back. Give me USC -6.5 at Illinois traveling. Give me Notre Dame -5.5 at Arkansas. Notre Dame, if you watched the game this last week, I actually picked Purdue to cover because Purdue was kept it close with other things, and they were keeping it really close with Notre Dame until Notre Dame said, we're gonna step on your throat and we're gonna make it ugly. And I think they scored 24 points in the second quarter, in the fourth quarter or something like that. They just really put them out. And I think Notre Dame's out for blood because 2 losses in the season, you better look good, and if you want to get into the playoffs. So give me Notre Dame to cover. Give me Kansas to cover the -5.5 at home finally versus Cincy. I love that Kansas offense. It's probably one of my favorite offenses to watch when it's run to perfection, and honestly, they run it right now so beautifully. Give me Oregon +3.5 at Penn State. Yeah, I'm picking a lot of away teams here to cover, and then Missouri. Give me Missouri -44.5 versus UMass. That Missouri team can put up points in a hurry, and against a UMass team that has no defense, yeah, I fully expect them to put their throat on, or put their foot on their throat. So that's 7 picks for me. I'll be happy if I go 5-2. If I go 4-3, I'll be a little annoyed, but so
nice. I missed those last 3. My internet again is kind of crapping out on me, so I might just.
It was Kansas, Oregon, and Missouri.
Oh, the Missouri one I think is a good pick.
Tennessee.
They'll kill a team if they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, I don't
never know. That might be the next coach for Florida.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want him there.
If I'm UF, I go.
I don't want him there as an FSU fan. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I go either get Eli or I go get Lane because both have been good recruiters, great offensive minds, and no offense, you're a better place than Ole Miss or Missouri.
Yeah. No.
Also, did you see Will Weeks, the Instagram post of Will Weeks cuddling up next to Lane Kiffin's daughter?
No.
The linebacker from LSU. Yeah, I don't know. Just saw it randomly. I don't know how true it is. You know how online is, but I was like, so he posted on his Instagram story.
Oh.
So, anyways, I'll shut up.
Yeah, I just don't know what to say about that. Oh, okay.
Just weird, canoodling with the enemy.
Why would you? Well, yeah, it's why would you poke the bear like that? Especially, isn't he
the week before the game?
Yeah. Well, anyway, cool. I don't have anything else. Do you?
Nah, let's get out of here.
All right, cool. We'll see if this one even works. I really am a little concerned that my side probably screwed this up, but I'll let you know one way or another. And if this episode sees the light of day, thanks for listening to it, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Post it in all its incomplete glory. We don't care.
Oof. Okay.
We're CFB paint, not CFB beautifulness. So
yeah, hard to argue with that. Okay. I stopped. Did I not?
I don't have it. Doesn't have it stopped for me yet.
Maybe it won't let me stop it. My internet is super weird right now. It's so strange that again, there are a couple times where you broke up, but most of the time it was great, but it kept saying trying to reconnect, make sure you have a stable internet connection. That message basically stayed the whole time. So I'm not sure what to make of this.
So if I were to try and stop recording from my side, how would I do it? Because I see red dots. Oh, you just hung up.